And here we go again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the post-fight show. Canelo versus Jacobs for the unified middleweight championship of the world. Going into this fight, I said that what we're looking at here is a good middleweight against a very good middleweight in Danny Jacobs and Canelo. Canelo being the very good middleweight, Jacobs being a good middleweight. I said coming into the fight, momentum was with Canelo. He was the guy that looked more spectacular, more devastating, more impressive, fought better opposition. Jacobs, on the other hand, was the guy who I thought was on the decline, and the guy that, although champion, not as impressive in his recent fights. Now, when I watch boxing, I sit down to watch boxing, I don't watch personalities. Well, he might be a personality that's boxing, but I don't watch personalities. I watch boxing skill and talent. I look to see what the fighter is doing. I look to see if a fighter is making a person miss, making them pay. Are the punches landing? Is there consistency with what they're doing? And Danny Jacobs, I've seen him over and over and over again. And I just think, for me, Jacobs is, I'm not going to call him one-dimensional, but he's not as great as people put him out to be. He's a good middleweight, but he just doesn't do anything fantastic to me. People say he was a knockout puncher, right? No, didn't see that. He's a very, very good boxer. Yeah, he's a good boxer, not a great boxer, a good boxer. But for me, Canelo, I watched how Canelo was able to, like, from round one. As soon as I saw Jacobs taking a back foot step and fighting on the back foot. No, you're not winning this fight tonight. Not off the back foot. You cannot beat Canelo off the back foot and win a fight. No. It's not happening. It's not happening. That explains why. They, in America, for the most part, particularly if it's going to be Canelo, you know that before Canelo gets in the ring, he's won the fight on points. So you have to beat the living daylights out of Canelo. You have to knock him out, which means you've got to take chances. Being off the back foot is you trying to be smart and slick. That's not going to win you a fight against Canelo. Not if you're not going to be aggressive with him, you see. And Jacobs is off the back foot, watching, slipping, throwing his shots. The thing is, for me, you've got to be on the front foot against Canelo. You've got to force Canelo on the back foot. But Canelo put his front foot forward, and for the majority of the fight, Canelo was on the front foot, the aggressor. But then when he was on the aggressor moving forward, the early rounds, he was landing significantly better shots than Jacobs. Jacobs was, he's landing shots and they're being caught on the gloves and the arms and the elbows. They weren't landing on the head or to the body. Canelo early on, left hook to the body, right hook to the body, left jab, straight right hand. These shots were missing. Slipping back and catching Jacobs with the right hand. All these things were happening. Jacobs never made the adjustment with his left jab. At no point in time, he was throwing the jab all the time. I didn't see as many fakes with Jacobs. I didn't see Jacobs kind of making Canelo miss or making him pay. I didn't see a lot of that. I saw Jacobs doing the same thing over and over and over again. The southpaw stance is another thing. And I'm not just ripping Jacobs apart. He did do some good work. He did land some good combinations. He is a good middleweight. He is a world-class middleweight. He is, he does deserve to be and have that, being a champion. I get all of that. And I'm respecting Jacobs. But his work is, I couldn't find the word until tonight to describe Jacobs' work. Scrappy. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't pinging out. It was just something missing. It just didn't seem polished for me when Jacobs was throwing his punches. And a lot of the punches, you look what he's throwing, combination punching. There was from round 3, Canelo started moving his head. So making Jacobs miss, slipping the jab. And then Jacobs would throw the right hand. Canelo wasn't there. This is what I said would happen in the preview. All the things I said in the preview would happen with Jacobs and Canelo, it happened. The only thing that didn't happen is Jacobs didn't get himself knocked out. For me, to you to beat Canelo, you've got to force him onto the back foot, and you've got to keep him on the back foot, keep him pinned to the ropes for 12 rounds. And you've got to be at the end. administrating punches. You cannot beat Canelo off the back foot. I'm sorry, not happening. No way, Jose. No. Well, maybe shouldn't say Jose. Not very good, is it? Anyway, so and then you've got the WBC president, stroking Canelo and whispering in his ear. I mean, that sort of shit shouldn't be allowed whatsoever. To me, that should not be allowed. Canelo's Mexican. It just shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be happening. I don't think, and it doesn't do for me the sport any favors. I think that the WBC president should hold the belt in the air, and then he should get the hell out of the ring and should have nothing to do with either of the fighters until the end of the fight. Personal opinion, but there you go. So there was no way Jacobs was going to win this fight on points. I'm sorry. These people will come out and say Jacobs won the fight. How? To win a fight, you've got to be landing punches. And Jacobs landed some punches, but go back and look at the tape. I'm doing the commentary, I'm looking. Are you landing clean shots? No. Canelo, the shorter man, the shorter reach, was out jabbing Jacobs at times. He was landing the harder jabs. When Canelo, look at the third round, Canelo starts to open up, throws a left jab, rocking Jacobs' head back. In later rounds, round 11 and 12, again, a straight right hand. Jacobs must hit back 4, 5, or 6 straight right hands. No response. No sort of blocking the straight right hand, coming back with anything. Just getting hit with the same shot repeatedly over and over and over again. Another thing, the ineffective southpaw stance. For the most part, the southpaw stance was ineffective. Yes, I know round 7 to about 7 to about 10. It was 8 to about 10. There's about 2 or 3 round period where Jacobs kind of was winning rounds. That's because I think Canelo was he took his foot off the pedal, didn't put as much pressure on, took his foot off the gas, and in 11 and 12 came back strongly. But if Canelo had boxed that same way it was boxing from round 1 to round 12, the fight wouldn't have been even as been as close. It would have been a unanimous points decision. So I think that's the best you're going to see of Danny Jacobs. Jacobs ain't going to be any better. I think Jacobs versus Andrade there's a good fight there. Jacobs versus Saunders, yeah, that's a good fight right there. But Jacobs at elite level against Canelo, forget it. Stop it. Behave it. Jacobs is not that good. He's all right. He's not that good. He's all right, but Jacobs is not going to apart. Jacobs' challenges and legendary status from outside the ring, what he did to get back into boxing is absolutely legendary. Pound for pound, #1 in terms of comebacks and all the rest of it. But as a boxer himself, he's good, not great. And I can't see people in 10 years' time going, "Oh, do you remember Danny Jacobs? He was a great middleweight." I don't see that. I think Felix Trinidad was a better middleweight than him. I think Nigel Benn was a better middleweight than Danny Jacobs. Just more explosive, I just don't think, in the world of middleweights, Danny Jacobs won't be remembered as a great fighter. Jacobs will be remembered as a decent fighter, a good fighter at best. I'm sorry. I wish I could say more about the brother, but I think he's a really nice guy. I think he's charismatic. I think he's equipped, got good boxing skills, but for me, there's something missing in Jacobs. I don't know if he needs to change trainers. I just think there's something. He just doesn't look. He always looks either overtrained or just not polished. He always looks like he needs 2 or 3 more weeks in camp. Or I'll have to talk to James Ali Bashir about this, but every time I see Jacobs, he's always looking scrappy in his punches. He hasn't got that polished look. But Canelo, on the other hand, has that polished look. His shots are sharp, they're crisp, they're precise for the most part. The slipping, the moving, the countering, the digging the body, short little body shots on the inside. Fantastic performance from Canelo once again against an elite fighter. So for me, Canelo, is the best middleweight in the world. You may as well call it the undisputed, because Andrade is a good fighter, but I suspect Andrade will do the same crap and box off the back foot against Canelo. I said Canelo don't like movers. That's correct. He don't like movers. But Jacobs, when them body shots start sinking in, that moving was stopped real quick. real quick. I remember round 4 or 5, Jacobs stopped all that movement, and it was basically in front of Canelo. So I usually say that Billy Joe Saunders would have beaten Canelo. I ain't so sure anymore. I used to think he'd beat Canelo. I don't think he beats him now. I think he would have beaten him a while back. You know, when he was going after he fought Lemieux. If he'd taken a fight against Canelo, that would have been the time. I think he would have beaten G and Canelo. But now, I don't think so. Personally, I think time is everything in boxing, and I'd love to see Canelo fight Charlo. I'd like to see how he handles a Charlo brother, the older one. I'd like to see how he does with that. That'd be a great fight, I think. Physicality, strength. I'd like to see actually Charlo and Jacobs fight. That's what I'd like to see. I think, yeah, that would be a very good fight. Very, very good fight. Spence versus Canelo's talked about 20 million. We'll see how that works out in the future. But Canelo's the man at middleweight. For me, he's the man at middleweight. The other guys are playing catch up for me. So, and he fights Gennady Golovkin again. He beats Golovkin. He may even go and stop Golovkin this time. I know Golovkin now's got Jonathan Banks in his corner. Well, good luck for that. Good luck with that. But yeah. So yeah, you can see that. To me, Golovkin's trying to cut his costs. That's what it looks like to me. So, what do you think? How do you think the fight was for you? Oh, a lot of people talk in the room. My apologies, people. I didn't see you in the room. Okay. 115, 113 was the right score for Canelo. I think so. My scorecard, 116, 113, Jake. Yep, I would have given that. Totally agree, Ingram. Lost the first 4 rounds doing FA. Yeah, well, that's Jacobs for you. I'm going to go one step further. Jacobs is a boring fighter. Jacobs is boring. I'm sorry. Let's just think this out. Put it this way, yeah? What is exciting about Danny Jacobs? His story, yes, outside the ring, great story. But he doesn't do anything spectacular. He does everything okay, but nothing great. I mean, could you really see Jacobs being pound for pound #1 fighter in the world? No, I can't. Jacobs being the cash cow. Can you see that? No, I can't. I'm sorry. Jacobs has just got something missing so far, and I think he needs to change trainers personally. He was fighting a bit scared at the start. Yeah, that's the way Jacobs fights. You see, Jacobs came out and made a big statement. Oh, yeah, I fought Golovkin. I took Golovkin's best shots. That means I can beat Canelo. No, it does not mean that. It means you just took Golovkin's best shots. But then Golovkin is very much a hyped fighter. Very much hyped. His punching power is very hyped. I mean, who was the best guy that Golovkin knocked out? I mean, knocked out. I don't mean the referee came in and stopped the fight. Who's his best wing? And then you got to ask yourself the question, well, okay, was it a guy that got blown up from welterweight up to middleweight? Is that Golovkin's best fight? Was the Jacobs fight his best fight? What was Golovkin's best knockout? Then you just talk about someone like Julian Jackson. And how many guys that Golovkin knocked out are going to go on to be Hall of Fame greats or Hall of Fame champions? Then you look at someone like Julian Jackson, a legendary pound-for-pound puncher, and he knocks out Terry Norris, who he himself is going to be a Hall of Fame fighter. So I think a lot of Golovkin, there's a lot of Golovkin hype that you see. Anyway, moving on. Great work in commentary. Thank you very much there, Slicks. He was, what else? Still believe Billy Joe beats Canelo, but GGG and Jacobs are behind Canelo. Billy Joe Saunders don't beat Canelo. I don't think he beats Canelo. Sorry, I don't. Because I don't think he'll get away with the nonsense. If people are basing him beating Canelo off the Lemieux fight, Lemieux can't box. Lemieux cannot box. Lemieux's never been able to box. He's just been a puncher. But everyone said, oh, yeah, Golovkin looked great against Lemieux. He had a great jab. Yeah, he had a great jab against a guy who can't box. Lemieux's a puncher. Pure puncher. That's it. Jacobs got outclassed. Carl Froch score. Carl joke. Well, I thought Canelo started to gas after 6 rounds, but deserved to win. No, I think Canelo fights in spurts. I think what Canelo does, he leaves himself for the last 2 rounds, and then, like in the middle phases, I'm looking at Canelo. He looks like he's seen everything and taking time to take a breather so he can finish strong in the last 2 rounds. Eye-catching last 2 rounds, and that's what he did. Froch had it a draw, flip's sake. Froch is a douche. Sky scorecards are a joke. $2.5 million minus up to $1 million in fines deserve to be paid much more. Disgusting, in my opinion. I'd rather listen to Brits than Americans when it comes to hearing thoughts on boxing. Oh, thank you very much, Das. Canelo's elite. Jacobs is just below that. I said that in the preview, and you saw that in the fight. Round 4 is the best for Canelo. His defense was great. That's what I'm saying to you there. I said that in the preview. When Canelo starts to move his head, upper body movement from the waist up, there isn't many in the world today that moves the head. And if you watch Canelo now, there was a little thing he did with his elbow. He's pushing Jacobs off. He's been studying Mayweather. That was the elbow, that elbow, forearm elbow thing, and pushing the guy off defensively. That was a Mayweather thing. Mayweather uses elbow a lot defensively to push guys off. Watch Canelo. Watch Canelo. I mean, Canelo is a master for me. I talk about boxing. Canelo's a master at what he does. Just because he's short and he's squat and he doesn't move his feet, and he is a master. He's a guy who'll make you miss and make you pay, and he's doing it against the elites. He did it against Cotto. You know what I mean? He's making you miss and making you pay. Yeah, he fought Mayweather then, and a lot of people saying Canelo's going to beat Mayweather. Mayweather was the experienced guy coming in. We knew that. So you can't go into the fight saying he's going to beat Mayweather, and then when Mayweather beats him, then say he's inexperienced. So he's inexperienced going in. He was inexperienced coming out. He got better experience, but no way in a rematch he would have beaten Mayweather either at that time. Now we're looking at different times. Canelo's a far more experienced fighter, and Mayweather's an older fighter. I would like to see this Canelo against Mayweather that fought him that night. That would have been a fantastic fight. I still think Mayweather would have still been able to maneuver his way out of Canelo because of the footwork and the sharp straight right hand. He was stung him with a straight right hand all the time. So Canelo wouldn't have time to think. He might think a little bit quicker, but I still think Mayweather would maneuver his way around Canelo to a points win. Canelo is better on the back foot. We know that, but just that said, he's so good he can still dominate having to go looking. Yes, he can. Canelo, one of the best chins in the game. He's got one of the best chins in the game because he doesn't get hit often. That's because he's able to slip. And another thing he does well, Canelo's now. There's something De La Hoya. I was a big De La Hoya fan. One of the things I loved about De La Hoya never took most shots clean. When De La Hoya would catch a shot, he'd roll his head. So when the punch is coming, he's taking this thing away from the punch. So the punch is sliding off the chin as opposed to taking it flush. And you watch Canelo, his initial reaction is like when he rolls or he's pulling away from a shot, he's pulling his head away. That's to take the sting away from shots. De La Hoya did that a lot. So Canelo's taken a bit from De La Hoya there. He's taken a bit from Mayweather with the elbow, dropping back. Again, another thing that Mayweather used to do, drop back off the jab and come back over the clock with the right hand. But before we go back, it was either Josie Joe Walcott. I think it was Josie Joe Walcott who did that, going back in time. I loved the shot. He would pull back. He would draw you onto the Walcott. He would draw back. When you throw your jab, he'd draw back, draw you on, and then smack you a right hand. Josie Joe Walcott, great fighter. The Mexican meat be doing the business. For Canelo being the smaller man, he took it to Jacobs. Yeah, but the thing is, this stuff about being the bigger man, the taller man, how many times do you have to see in boxing? Because you're a bigger man and a taller man doesn't make you a better man. You saw it in the Rocky Fielding fight. You saw it against Corolla. It doesn't mean because you're bigger and stronger, you're going to win the fight. Khan versus Crawford. That was the biggest load of crap ever. Oh, yeah, he's bigger than you. He's bigger than you. If you listen to commentary, particularly in the UK, and you hear commentators say, he's bigger and he's stronger, that basically means he's shit. Because bigger and stronger don't mean you're a better boxer. It just means you're bigger and stronger. It don't mean you're a better boxer. They don't mean you can throw a jab or a right hand or left hook. The fact that you look at somebody's size, he's bigger and stronger. Don't say he's bigger, stronger, and better. They just say he's bigger and stronger. That's to make the fight 50-50. It's never 50. This fight was never 50-55. I said it was 75-25% in Canelo's favor, and we saw that play out in the fight. Jacobs would be kicking himself about how he started. I don't want to hear about Jacobs kicking himself because if Jacobs should have looked back at the Golovkin fight, he should have kicked himself from there and then continued kicking himself and put on better performances leading up to the Canelo fight. No adjustments. If Wilder landed clean on Canelo, his chin would still take it, probably because Canelo probably see that shit coming. Yeah, he's made it look as easy as anything. Chris Rooney, yes, Chris, I agree with you. He's made it look easy. I had it 8-4 Canelo, easy work. It was easy work, completely easy work. Hello, Mr. Seagull. Hello. I've got a massive seagull on my ceiling, and he's just come to let me know that I need to feed him. Well, can you wait? I'm doing live commentary at the moment. So if you don't mind, if you just bugger off for 10 minutes, I'll finish the commentary. Thank you very much. Bugger off for 10 minutes and I'll feed you afterwards. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like somebody's writing in Russian or Ukrainian, which is great. I appreciate it, but I would also appreciate it more if you write in English, if you can. I don't have a translator. So where you are in the world, please do hit the subscribe button. There's 322 people in the room. Smash the like button and please hit that subscribe button. For those of you boxing fans from around the world, please check out also the videos we've got on the channel. We've got exclusive with James Ali-Bashir. He is the trainer of Vlad Tsarenko, former trainer of Alexander Usyk. You can watch this man, one of the greatest trainers we've got of the modern era. 50 years in boxing, you get to watch him up close doing pad work with Vlad Tsarenko. If you're a boxing fan and you want to know more about boxing and how to do the pads, how to hit the pads, learn from a great in James Ali-Bashir. Please do hit the subscribe button. Smash the subscribe button. Show the love. Hello from Mexico. Hey, how are we doing from Mexico? I hope that you're well. Your man did well. He did well. He did very well. And I want to mention this point as well. I support the fighters, and I don't bring color into the equation. They're two guys, two very good boxers. I look at what they do inside the ring. I don't look at the color of the skin. I don't look at the nationality. I just look at them as boxers, and that's what they are, and that's how I score a fight. I said it before, Jacobs and GGG are both one-dimensional, no adjustments at all. I think they are. I think the Jacobs, if you got your ass, if you felt that you beat Golovkin and you felt that you were so hard done by, why the hell would you come into the fight and do the same shit you did against Golovkin? He did exactly the same thing, came in overweight. He came in overweight. Canelo didn't care. Great fight. Canelo by 4, not too difficult. Jacobs did not work hard enough. It's not about working hard enough. What it is that he felt the power and thought, oh shit, I ain't getting involved in this shit. No way. Let me just get the 12 rounds in and get out of here. I think Jacobs, you know what? When you've come from a situation like Jacobs has come from, where he has, said he would never box again. And that's the line that you live by, that you overcame adversity. When you get in the ring, you're just glad to be in the ring and box. And I think Jacobs has settled with that. You know what? I'm just glad to be able to box, man. I'm just so glad to be able to box, man. The doctor said I won't be able to box. Now I can box. Okay, so you can box. You've got the opportunity. But you're not grabbing the opportunity. Yeah, you're two-time world champion. That's respectable, and that's great to have come back from cancer and done that. That's amazing. That is legendary. But I don't think his mentality allows him to go any further than that. You get what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm glad to be champion, and you know what? I'm getting paid well, and you know what? In 12 rounds, I'll come again. That sort of mentality. That's what I seem to pick up from Jacobs. So yeah, I don't think there's anything much more for me to talk about, unless there's anything that you guys can find. What are your feelings regarding Demetrius Andrade? Demetrius Andrade needs to fight someone. Andrade needs to go and fight Charlo. He needs to fight a name. He needs to fight a cash cow. I've been talking about Andrade for the longest while. Right? He needs to stop looking like Prince, and he needs to actually fight someone. Andrade. He needs to fight a Charlo. That's my thoughts on Andrade. Jacobs and GG needed to go to Canelo body early. He fades anyway. Go to the body early, and we'll pay it off in the later rounds. I don't think Canelo fades. I think it's a misconception about Canelo. I think Canelo in the middle rounds takes time off. and then in the later rounds puts the pressure back on again. That's why he wins the fight. Who won? Canelo by points. Who did you expect to win? So yeah, please do hit the smash like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back with more stuff. Thank you all as always. Is there anything else we talk about? Canelo is a great front runner, but not an athlete as Mayweather. We know that. Jacobs did exactly the same things from the GGG fight, nothing different. He felt Canelo power and didn't want to take that risk. Thank you very much, Troy Duran. Those are my points exactly. Jacobs hasn't improved, and I looked his training for that as well. Canelo was not able to look great, but did enough to win. Jacobs was backpedaling too much because he felt Canelo's power. It was backpedaling for the first 30 seconds. So Canelo did look well, in my opinion. He looked very well. Okay, fella, back to bed. Bye from Cardiff. Good work. Cheers, mate. Good to see you soon. Thank you. I don't have a favourite beef. Best man wins. Indeed. Yeah, I agree too. I don't have favourites. I like Jacobs. I love Canelo. But it's just, when I say I like Jacobs, I love Canelo, it's just that you look at a man's CV, you look at a man's work, and I look, Canelo's looked very impressive. And look, Jacobs, he's looked okay. And that's exactly what we got. Chat is going crazy. Well, yeah, it will do. These nights do happen. The big fights, this is what happens. We do get a good crowd. So, yeah, Slicks, is there anything you think I should talk about here? Do you think there's anything I've missed out on? I've talked about Jacobs. As for Canelo, he'll kick Jesus' ass. Even with Jonathan Banks, he'll even beat him even easier with Jonathan Banks in the corner. No disrespect to Jonathan Banks, but do you know what I mean? I just think Canelo will beat G even easier this time round. I just think he'll beat G. And whenever Saunders really wants a real fight, and Saunders has got that thing in his career, like Kawasaki. You look at Kawasaki's career and Saunders' injury, pullouts, and all the rest of it. I don't know. Andrade dog shit gets United's decision against Canelo. He might do, but I don't think they'll give it to him. I mean, thoughts on GGG new trainer? What thoughts do you want me to have? I mean, I don't know. What significant changes has Jonathan Banks made to any fighter that you can tell of, that you can make of? What are the significant changes Jonathan Banks has added to the corner? That's the question you ask yourself. Okay, Banks is coming to the corner. What's he going to add to Golovkin? What is Banks going to add to Golovkin? Klitschko trainer, yeah. And give me some more about being Klitschko's trainer. The same Klitschko trainer that was allowing an amateur, more or less, in Bright Jennings to almost trying to dictate a fight. The same trainer that was in a corner when Klitschko was half asleep, allowed Klitschko to be given the runaround by Tyson Fury. Great trainer would say, hey, cut that shit out. Get on him. Jump on Fury. Didn't do that. And that's why Klitschko's no longer champion. That's the same trainer. Stop looking at trainers' names. Look at what they actually do to a fighter. Do they change a fight around? Mark Tibbs. Why do people not talk about Mark Tibbs? Mark Tibbs had Dillian Whyte, right? Dillian Whyte gets knocked out by Anthony Joshua. You look at the evolution of Dillian Whyte since. But nobody talks about Mark Tibbs. Mark Tibbs has made such an improvement on Dillian Whyte's career. That, as a fighter, as a man, the way he's matured as a fighter. That's what I'm talking about there. So when you talk about a trainer, don't just talk about the name because Sky or Showtime give you the name. Look at his work and look at what he's done. Don't look at a guy that's had fighters that come into his camp and already great fighters and already established as world champions. Look at a guy that takes a fighter from nothing and makes something of him, or a fighter that nobody gives a damn about and he's taking him up the ranks. That's where you find a good trainer, a very good trainer. Don't just look at a trainer because he's associated with a fighter. Klitschko was always a great fighter. He was a great fighter before Banks was brought in. And Banks was brought in originally, this is the truth, he was brought in as a sparring partner for Vladimir Klitschko. And Emmanuel Stewart didn't rate Banks. He didn't think Banks was good enough, but he was a southpaw. And they wanted to get southpaw sparring in. That's how that worked. That's how Banks got into camp in the first place. And Stewart said, look, I don't want this guy in camp. And if you want him in camp, then what you'll have to do is that you're going to have to look after him. So Bashir took him in camp and put Banks in the same room as Bashir. And that is how Banks ended up becoming part of the Klitschko camp. That's the truth. That's the true story. That's how Banks became a part of the Klitschko story. That's how it happened. All right. And get your histories correct about these situations, right? Only chance any fighter has versus Canelo is to stay off on back foot. The most front foot heavy fighter is in 5 years. Last 5 years went on back foot in rematch against him. Speaks volumes. That's what I'm saying. You don't fight Canelo off the back foot. You've got to be on the front foot. The minute I saw Jacobs, listen to my commentary in the first round. The minute I saw Jacobs taking the back foot and going on the back foot towards Canelo, no, you ain't winning this fight. You ain't winning this fight. You listen to my commentary against Molina versus Joshua. I said, if Molina takes a step back towards the ropes in the first 30 seconds, he ain't coming to win. He's looking to survive. And that's exactly what happens. You can tell a lot about a fighter within the first round as to what they're trying to do. If Jacobs had held the ring, center of the ring, first round, and pumped out the jab and believed in himself and said, you know what? I'm the bigger man. I'm the stronger man. I'm the taller man. I'm the longer man. I've got the better boxing ability. Then that's how he would have won the fight. But no, he didn't want any of that. Felt the body shots. He said, no, I don't want any of this tonight. I don't want any. I ain't getting knocked out tonight. I'm taking my money and I'm going home and I can fight another day. I want to see Saunders, Jacobs, super middle. Jacobs needs to move up. Yeah, he might need to move up. I think Jacobs. I'd love to see that fight. Jacobs, Saunders, super middle. Why? Let's make that happen. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. More news regarding round for round boxing. For those of you who have been tuning in, round for round boxing, there will be news coming soon for the new game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. What do you think of GGG Canelo fights? For me, the second fight, Abel Sanchez said, we want Canelo to, stop running, stand in the center of the ring. Well, that's what Canelo did. And he beat the bigger man up. Golovkin is hype. I'm sorry. He's hype. Who's the best man Golovkin's beaten? Who's the best man Golovkin's knocked out? I mean, knocked out. And if they have the rematch, I'm telling you now, Canelo's going to school Golovkin like there's no tomorrow. They even stop him. There's no way whatsoever that Golovkin beats Canelo. Sorry, not now. No, he's fit. He's done. Golovkin's done. Finished. Finito. That's why he's coming back and fighting a guy called Steve Rolls. Who the hell is Steve Rolls? To show he's got punching power. Ridiculous. Right, I'm getting out of here. Numbers are going down, and I've got to get some sleep. BWT, I think Billy Joe Saunders does a number on Golovkin, to be honest. Golovkin is far too slow. Yep, I think so. But it all depends on... Yeah, I think Golovkin, he hasn't got many fights left. I don't know where he's going with having a 4-year contract. I don't know where that's coming from. Don't know where that's going. Well, if he fights 2 fights a year and they're like guys like Steve Rolls, he might last. But I think Golovkin's finished personally. I love to see Golovkin fight Charlo. I bet he don't go anywhere near that fight. I like to see Jacobs fight Charlo. I like to see Andrade fight Charlo. I like to see GGG fight Charlo. I like to see Saunders fight Charlo. Oh, that's fight. I'd love to see that fight. Love to see that fight. Who the hell is Steve Rolls? Who is Steve Rolls? You mean you making a comeback and you fighting Steve Rolls? Who the hell is Steve Rolls? You come back and you fighting Steve Rolls. Who is Steve Rolls? Can somebody tell who Steve Rolls is, please? I know who Steve Rolls is. Unless you box track that shit. I thought I'd put Andrade to beat Saunders. I really did. I didn't think. I really thought Andrade is just a better fighter than Saunders. stylistically, I do. And you remember, Andrade beat Thurman. So there we go. As an amateur. I don't know why people are trying to type in Russian to me, and I understand a word you're typing, so it's only for you. You must be talking among your comrades here. But yeah. Right. If you guys below 200, I'm out of here. Right, it's 200. Right. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to rate, subscribe as always. Appreciate you all. Saunders ain't a fighter, he's a fencer. Well, we'll see. The time will tell, won't it? I'm not a big. I'm not that fan. I'm not that much of a fan of Saunders. What he's been doing outside the ring's just been ridiculous. Canelo came forward in the second fight. BGG is winning the first fight. He's got the style to beat them. He's got the style to beat them. But then, who's the best guy that Saunders has fought? And then talk to me about style. When people talk to you about style, I want to see how that style is up against the elite fighters. Does it work against the elite fighters? You got to stop Canelo. That's my thoughts. I'd love to see Canelo versus Charlo, though. I really would. And they ain't stopping him. That's good. That's very good. Right, I'm out of here. Thank you all so much. Don't forget to rate, subscribe. This has been BWTM Online. If you want non-biased commentary, subscribe. We're out of here. Thank you so much for watching. Check us out, BWTMOnline.com. Check us out on Facebook, BWTM Online. Check us out on Instagram, BWTM Online. www.bwtmonline.com. Thanks again.